I am Glenn Yancey, System Consultant with InSource Solutions, and I will be guiding us through these videos. This is a 4-part series focusing on Wonderware licensing and architecture. Part 1 will focus on an introduction into Wonderware licensing, with additional focus on development licenses and device integration, which are both integral to all Wonderware products. This series also assumes familiarity with core Wonderware products. Let's go ahead and get started. So the objective of this first part is for us to get a sense of comfort with how our Wonderware licensing model is set up. We're going to look at licensing from a very high level in this part. In subsequent parts, we're going to go deeper into the licensing for each product, but we're going to maintain a focus in this first part on the development license as well as the device integration license. And we're also going to get a look at the licensing manager to see the utility that is managing our licenses. Now, we know with our licensing model, one size does not fit all. We size on functionality as well as sizing based on the amount of money that they have in their budget. We want to demonstrate value. Let's get an understanding of the core products. We have the Wonderware InTouch HMI application, which is the interface. We have the device integration, which is the drivers that Wonderware supplies communicate to our end devices, such as PLCs. Then we have System Platform, which is our object-oriented means of creating an application. We have the Wonderware Historian for real-time data acquisition and storage. We have the Wonderware Information Server, which is a web portal for historical data retrieval, as well as the Historian Client for creating reports and trends. So with regards to these core products, we're going to see how some of these products are licensed from a local license perspective, as well as a server license perspective. Licensing is enforced through 4 ways. Number 1 is a EULA, which is legalese in a PDF document on the license CD. Number 2 is a license certificate for individual products. 3 are the actual software licenses themselves that get installed. And the 4th are the dongles. Now, dongles back in the day were USB keys or LPT-based dongles for printer ports. Then we graduated to floppy disks, then to CDs, and then now to a server-based license structure for specific products. Now let's discuss the license files that exist: local licensing and server-based licensing. With regards to local licenses, they come in 2 file formats. One called www.suite.lic, which enables older versions of our software, and then one called orchestra.lic, which enables the newer versions of our software from 2012 onward. The next piece is called orchestraserver.lic. The orchestraserver.lic is a server-based license. In other words, we have a license server that our clients will connect to request a license. And we have 3 different flavors for that: per named user, per named device, and per server concurrent. These work for specific products, such as the Historian Client, also formerly known as Active Factory, and the Information Server. Our licensing enables specific products, such as the InTouch HMI, the Historian, DA servers, or device integration. But we also have our license in the form of bundles, such as our Development Studio, which enables many products on one machine. We also have a Historian license, which enables the Historian Server, device integration locally, and the Information Server portal. So in that case, we have 3 products that get enabled. And then we have our System Platform. That is our largest type of bundle. It includes Application Server, Historian Server, Information Server, and a Device Integration Server license. So what is in a license file? When a customer receives a license file, they will receive a disk or in an email format. Once they get that disk and place that into the computer, they will see a serial number in the form of a folder. In that folder, There you will see the Orchestra and WW Suite licenses, which are both local licenses. When you purchase a license, you will receive a pair of those two licenses. Again, one for legacy support, which is the WW Suite, and one for current support, which is the Orchestra.lic. But we also see the Orchestra Server.lic license. Remember, that is a server-based license. With a development license, which this is an example of, that development licenses includes all three license types for developmental purposes. When I open that license, in this case the WW Suite license, I'm going to see a variety of things, such as serial numbers, descriptions, feature lines. To get an understanding of what's in a feature line, I've listed here a few attributes of that feature line, such as versions, host IDs, serial numbers, which are unique to each license, customer and owner, so that we know that the license that we have received, if we were a client, actually does belong to us and not to anybody else. But there are other things inside this license that can be useful, such as the expiration date. If we ever see an expiration date of January 1, 2000, we shouldn't panic. That means that there is no expiration date. But for our system integrators who receive consignment licenses, their development license will expire every year. So that's why there's a renewal. For other customers, their licenses do not expire. However, they probably will end up upgrading at some point. Let's understand the life cycle of a new license purchase. So we receive the order. Once that order is received, then the license is processed and burned onto a CD. That CD is then shipped out. The customer receives that disc. That disc is placed into the computer, and much like we saw earlier, they will see a folder with a serial number on it, which will then enable their software. Again, depending on the part that was purchased. But what about an upgrade? A customer wants to upgrade from an older version to a newer version. What's the process that they go through? They will access our website, insource.solutions. Once there, they will access the online form to request an upgrade, provided that they're on our Customer First comprehensive support package. They will then receive the license in the form of a zip file. That zip file was created by Wonderware, emailed to them, downloaded, and then placed onto that computer to enable their software. Once we are at the insource.solutions website, we'll go to the left underneath Solutions and then select Support. Once on this page, we will be able to scroll down and look for the link to request new licenses. This form will need to be filled out. After it's filled out, then we hit Submit to start the process of receiving upgrade licenses. To communicate to PLCs or other end devices, we need to have a device integration license in place. A device integration license would allow us to communicate to a variety of PLCs such as Rockwell, Siemens, Modicon, GE, and Omron. These drivers are called DA servers, and Wonderware provides a variety of DA servers. This is a list of current DA servers and many more to come in the next few quarters. So the way that a device integration license is set up is that we license on a per node or per computer basis. Multiple drivers can coexist on the same machine. So if we have a Siemens PLC that we need to communicate with and an Allen Bradley PLC that we need to communicate with, we can utilize one device integration license to enable multiple DA servers on that same machine. An example below shows the part number if we were to license this separately. However, it can be bundled with a variety of programs that are there, such as an InTouch runtime with I/O. That means one development license is included. Historian Server also comes with one device integration license. And with System Platform, there may be multiple amounts of device integration licenses. So now, in order for us to develop an application, whether or not it's System Platform or InTouch, we need to have a development studio. A development studio license comes in a variety of sizes: limited, small, medium, large, and unlimited. And as we can see here, they're split up into 3 different numbers. What do these numbers actually mean? The first number is based on Galaxy I/O. If we're developing a System Platform Galaxy, this allows us to develop up to 5,000 I/O points, or in other words, 5,000 connections to PLC tags or addresses. The second number deals with InTouch tags. So in this example, being that it's a large development studio, we can develop an InTouch application up to 3,000 tags. The last number states that with this development studio license, we can set up 500 history tags on the machine with a development license. However, for these 500 history tags, we can only retrieve a day's worth of information. So we can store as long as a computer has enough hard drive space. But on the retrieval end, we only have a 24-hour window. Now, also with the Development Studio, it can come in a remote desktop or terminal server option. So we can have a variety of developers accessing through remote desktop the IDE that communicates to the Galaxy. So what is an IDE? Well, we will see that in an upcoming video. But the IDE stands for the Integrated Development Environment. It's what we use to develop inside of the Galaxy. So 3 developers access through remote desktop the IDE that sits on the Galaxy repository server in this example. This is how the part number is laid out. We have the first part number, which is 97-1356T. This is the actual software license that will go onto that development station. It comes with 1 user. Any additional users that we're going to set up to be developers as well needs to have a TP license. So in this scenario, the very first one will have a T license for 1 user, and the additional users will have up to 2 TP licenses. The customer will only receive 1 software license for the Galaxy repository. In there will be rolled up a feature line called session count. In there, the feature line will state how many developers can connect into our development server. So the license will go on the development server. There is a caveat, and that caveat is that we cannot have an InTouch terminal server or remote desktop server on the same machine as our development. So we need to separate 2 machines or 2 virtual image environments, one dedicated for runtime terminal server and another one dedicated for a development terminal server, because they cannot coexist on the same machine. So what's included with a Development Studio license? Well, let's see what's included with a small, medium, and large. They will get the integrated development environment for the Galaxy. It comes with 1 platform, as well as an I/O count based on the size. It will also come with the InTouch development environment. This is called Window Maker. If we are migrating an application from an older version to the current version, we need to have a development studio in place to do so. We can also use this license and place that onto a machine that has an older version of InTouch, and it will still enable that older version of InTouch with our newer license. So the license is backward compatible for development. And a development license doesn't distinguish between an InTouch for System Platform or a standalone or modern in-touch application. That is done on the runtime end once we're finishing developing. So again, this development studio is for the development of an application, not for the runtime, but there will be one exception that we'll see in a little bit. It also comes with the Wonderware Skelta, also known as Orchestra Workflow Development License, a device integration server license to test out communication, as well as a Microsoft SQL Server Standard Edition license. We'll need that for the Historian and the Galaxy repository. Now, an unlimited license is a larger license, and it includes things that the other ones do not. So it's going to have everything that a small, medium, and large has, as well as an information server portal license to test and set up our information server web portal. It will come with one Historian client license. It will also enable a program that we have called In Control. It's what we used in the past for a software-based PLC. Now we also have a limited version of the Development Studio. It says 64 tags only. This license can be used for both development and runtime, but only for a very small in-touch application. If we have a customer that says, I have an in-touch application that will only have 50 tags, what type of license would you have for me? This Development Studio Limited would be that license. They can develop with that license, as well as use that same license for runtime. The exception here is we cannot use it to develop a Galaxy-based application. It's only meant for small, in-touch, modern, or standalone applications. And because of that, it does not enable a multi-developer environment. We also have a type of development studio called Advanced. It includes everything that a Development Studio Unlimited has, plus the capability to develop inside of our MES suite of products, such as operations, performance, and quality. It enables for development the QI Analyst, the in-batch programs, Intelligent Server, as well as the Wonderware Toolkit package. Now, once we receive a development license or whatever other type of license, how do we enable that? How do we bring that into our environment so that it enables the products that we have purchased? The first is called the Orchestra License Utility. This is our traditional utility that we've been using for years. But since 2014 of our software suite, we now have a new Invensys license utility. We can use that for centralized management, so that on one machine, I can assign licenses to other computers and manage that through one centralized location. So let's see how they are used. The first utility that I'm going to demo is called the Orchestra License Utility. So I go to Start, Programs, Invensys, and then the License Manager folder, then selecting the Orchestra License Manager. Once the utility is open, I'm going to add a new license by going to File, Install License File, going to the folder that contains my licenses, in this case the one that looks like a serial number. I select the www.suite.lic license. That opens up, and now I can select the license and view some of the attributes of a feature line, such as a version number and an expiration date. But I also can look at my serial number, which is quite important if I ever get support involved. The next one is called the Invensys License Utility. This is the newer manager. I also go to the same location that I did for my Orchestra License Manager, but this time I select the Invensys one. So I choose to import, go to the same folder. In this example, I choose the orchestra.lic. Once that is added, I can go back and add another license if I choose to do so. So in this example, I'm going to do the orchestra server.lic. So before I did a local license, now I'm going to do a server license. Now in this example, as soon as I select next, it says, oh, it's a server license. For your clients out there, is it a per named device, per named user or concurrent? If so, provide the user or computer names in there. After I do that, I hit save. License Manager verifies it, and everything should be fine. But if I want it to be exact, I'm going to go into the advanced mode so I can actually see what's in my licenses. So I can choose between my local license, look at the feature lines and other attributes, as well as the server-based license. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for the next 3 videos in our 4-part series. Part 2 is our InTouch licensing, Part 3 is System Platform licensing, and Part 4 will be our Historian licensing, both server and clients. That will also include the information server.
Need to learn more about this and other in-source products? Check out our training tracks designed to guide you down your learning path for in-source products. Whether you're using a classic InTouch and Historian architecture or using System Platform, we have a track to help you get the most out of your software investment. To register or learn more, click the link in the video description below. Thanks for watching this in-source video.